Rockets require gunpowder and paper. While I already have farms for this gunpowder farm and this sugarcane farm, it's just not enough. And honestly, they don't look the best. So today I'm starting my industrial district with an automatic rocket farm. And I'm not just doing the farms today, we're also building it big. Now currently this is my gunpowder farm. While it gets the job done, it is just not enough, especially with all the bigger projects I'm starting like my end project. I need a lot more rockets if I'm going to be getting around, especially with the larger scale of all these builds. So we need to upgrade this. Now originally I wanted all of my farms here in this tower just because it would be easy to AFK and get all of my materials I needed down into my sorting system when I eventually hook that up. Another thing I need to get onto. But I want something a lot larger than what I can handle in all these floors. As you can see, there's not a lot of space in these floors and I'm filling them out pretty quickly. So we need a spot for our industrial district. So what we need to do is find a good location to start our industrial district. It needs to be an open space where I can AFK in one location and just get all of my mass-produced items, not the small things like the small farms in my tower. I mean, my iron farm, I kind of hid away, luckily, into the massive tree there, but we need a big and open space. So I'm thinking we're going to head over to our spruce biome over here and do a little bit of terraforming just to get started. Let's go! Now, there are still more opportunities for more terraforming, so instead of these plain, boring hills that I just quickly did, I could experiment with different mountains or other features. But today, it's just the start. Now, just up there is my old creeper farm, so we'll need to destroy that by the end of today's episode so we can clear out our skyline to make everything just a little bit nicer around our starting area. But now that we have set up our canvas to paint on, let us gather all the paint and materials we're going to need for this build. So this is actually my first ever industrial district, and I wanted it to be something special. So I'm trying out a brand new building style theme that I've never actually tried, which is Steampunk. This is also going to help when I start my Steampunk city in my Book to Block series. If that's something you'd like to see, let me know so I can start practicing this style more. But now, let's get back to hardcore. Phew! Well, that took quite a while. Thankfully, with the trial chamber so close by, the copper and tuff were of no issue. And I've added another small farm to my tower with that mud farm, really helpful. And deep slate, as always, such a pain to gather. But it's probably my favorite block in the game, so not much I can do about that. But I guess now, it's time to build. Alright, and here it is. It is looking pretty good if I do say so myself. I love these smoke towers. I did a little bit of work using some hay bales and campfires, using a little bit of different variety. Some of them have hay bales, some of them don't. So the variety, like the changing of the smoke towers, so it's not just one giant square coming out of each of them. But now it's time to go inside. Well, and here it is. A little bit disappointing that it's empty on the inside. It'll get its interior soon. So here is going to be my massive creeper farm. I'm going to enclose it in a nice wall and use nice tinted glass so that I can actually see inside, but the light levels won't affect it at all. As you can see, I haven't spawn-proofed the interior quite yet. These up there needs to be spawn-proofed slightly differently. Everything else should be pretty much spawn-proofed so that the only spawns can be actually in this tower. Now over here is going to be the sugarcane farm. Planning to have 2 rows on each side, and I can stack it up as much as I want to kind of match the output. If I need more, if I'm getting a lot of gunpowder, I can stack a couple more on top, a couple more modules to increase the amount of paper output so that when it's all drawn and pipes underground and such, it's going to come over to here where it's going to be a massive machine that's going to auto-craft everything for me. So I just AFK for a little bit. It's going to be way up in the sky. And then I can just come in here, open a chest, and grab stacks and stacks of rockets. But now that we know the plan, let us continue on the build. Well, I guess we know it's gonna work at least. Whew, that was a little more than I was expecting. They really got me there. And I have to clear out like a dozen more creepers. So we know the farm's going to work. That's one positive. Destroyed a little bit of it, but thankfully It's very isolated, and the materials are basically just stone and a bit of glass. So nothing too much loss. All right, let's finish off all of the trap dooring. That's what's taking the longest. And then we will cover it up and work on to the sugarcane. All right, before we finish I have 4 set up, 2 on each side. This is kind of how it's going to look. I still need to light up all the bulbs, same with on the outside for the windows. That's just another thing I have to do quickly, but here is one slice just so you can see what I'm working with. So the blast furnace is just decorative, bit of black glass because the tinted glass bankrupted me and took forever to gather all those amethyst buds. And then the lighting is just for keeping everything lit up in this area. So all we have is a bit of water to keep the sugarcane growing. I'm using mud so that I can have hoppers underneath and instead of a hopper minecart because it's less than 1 block. As you can see, you can kind of see I do a little up there, just there. You can kind of tell it's a little bit lower. So that means items can be sucked directly through it with a hopper. So I'll need a hopper line underneath here. Once this grows up to the 3rd one, the detector or observer will detect it, send a signal back here to this redstone, which will power the piston, breaking these top 2, dropping it down, and then it'll all be gathered over onto that side. So I set up 1 cell already. I need to do the other 3. That'll just take a little bit longer, but I think I'm getting ready because this is also done. You just saw. That tinted glass is so much more expensive. I wish there was an automated way to do it. I spent a lot of hours just waiting for it all to grow. I have a couple out in the ocean, a couple of those little geodes ready, but I think it's time we test this out. As you saw in the last couple clips, this was very effective starting off, so we just need to turn it on. Now currently I don't have a way in, so I just made a hole in the front here, so this is the timing mechanism that sets it off. All I have to do is flick this lever, and let's take a look down here. It'll remove all of my torches. Oh, I should probably get rid of that first. All right, much better. So now this will send signals to this observer, which will, I guess, activate this. I don't actually know how this works. This is just something I found and just quickly brought in. That's why you got like pieces like this that kind of look a little weird. Just following the schematic. So hopefully, let's test it out. So we send this down. All right, that's going to power that for some reason, but I don't see it working. I've got my soul campfires down here to burn up any creepers, but it should have released a little bit. Maybe when it makes its way around again, we'll take a look. Let's wait for it to go, and it should be there. All right, troubleshooting time. All right, after watching the tutorial like 7 times and redoing this whole thing, I figured out it was this block here. I had made it stone when it should have been a dispenser. It was one of the times I freehanded instead of using light matica. So need to put these onto full signal, and hopefully if we go this, we can take a quick look. There we go, water. We're getting water on all of them. Okay, that's good. So now as it goes back, all right, it sends it again and all the water disappears. So now everything is a spawnable platform. We can check. It's all red, which means it can spawn anything, anytime. Now, the only reason why it's not spawning is because I am really close to it. If I were to go up high in the sky, and then all the spawnable areas would just be on this area. Because the outside of this is all spawn-proof. These are all slabs. There's a couple corners I need to fix up, but for the most part, this is ready to go. So we're going to turn this off for now, because it doesn't need a run, until we get everything else fixed up. All right, with most of the practical stuff in the inside, you can see I've done a little bit more work through the little window there, but we won't go there quite yet. I'm looking at this whole build, and I'm seeing like these sides. They feel so flat, like here, and maybe even on this side, a little bit flat, low detail. I really focused on the front here, because the plan was to have a bunch more factories kind of on the sides and behind. This is kind of like at the top of the hill, so nice view from the front. I still need to work on getting all those lights lit up. I just need a bit of redstone for that. That's not too much of trouble. But I'm thinking I want to add at least one kind of pretty thing that I gotta spend a lot of time on. You can already see where it's gonna go. You can kind of see a little shape here. So we're gonna do a little bit of gear work to bring that steampunk vibe into it. Like it's already got the colors of the kind of grays and dark grays, and then the copperish that's kind of supposed to be like brass for like steampunk, but the copper is the closest we can get. And then we got the smokestacks and things like that. So I want to get something really cool on this side. So I'm going to go and study. I kind of planned out the area I want it. You can kind of see where I missed areas here. I kind of planned it all to here. So we're going to bring over some really cool gears. Now, I'm sure by this point you guys are sick and tired of seeing Lightmatica time lapses. It's just layer after layer, 3D printing. It's not the most exciting, so I found a little bit of footage from when I designed this thing in creative mode. That's why you see some things in the background that are weird and things are moving a lot quicker. So this is kind of the process of I went through creating all these different gears and kind of creating the belt that goes around it. So now let's head back over into the hardcore world and take a look at the final product with the whole build put together. All right, and here it is, the belt and the gears all put together. Kind of the best. It's too thick, that's why it's kind of maybe a little weird on this one, but this one has it right. So I guess I need to fix this and maybe push it back one. It just kind of looked cool on its own, all put together. That's one thing I just noticed now from recording. I didn't actually make it thick enough to go onto the belt itself. But with that, I've also done a bunch of plank spawn proofing. You can see I got the buttons here, a bit of carpet here. So this entire area is actually spawn proofed as best as possible. So no creepers are going to spawn anywhere. Here's a little bit of exception, but these are all going to be turned on so that I'll add enough light, and I've got to light up this area a little bit more. But now that the exterior is 99% done, just have to light those up, we're going to go on to the interior, and you'll see a little bit more progress has been made. As you can see, I've got all 4 in place, and they're all growing pretty good. Now all I have to do is light up these copper bulbs. I got my little walkway on top, so looks like I missed lighting a couple areas. We'll deal with that in a second. Got a little walkway on top to inspect these top bits. So just gotta light those up. That'll add all the lighting I need. And then I've come around and I've gotten some item elevators. Okay, let me fix this first. All right, as I was saying, we've got some item elevators. This guy kind of stole some stuff. As you can see, I've got some hoppers. It's hard to see, so let's do free cam again. So under here, we have all of our hoppers underneath the mud that are all going towards one place into here. So they all come into one hopper chain into this dispenser here. Now, when one goes in, the comparator reads it, sends a signal, and it pulses constantly. I guess we can come back out so it's a little less jumpy. And it pulses these observers, which goes all the way up, and it lands in this hopper up here. As you can see, just from standing around, we've already got some. So the next thing is to bring this one and bring it over to here. I did the same thing with the, I guess you can see, oh, that just despawned right in front of my face, but we're getting some gunpowder and it's coming through. So without even turning it on, these guys are wandering off and landing into the kill zone. So we need to set this up quickly so we can get production in full swing. So it's the same thing over here. I'm gonna have to light up down here pretty good, but it's the same thing going all the way up. Now we just need to, just gotta fly through. We need to set up the whole kind of big machine that's gonna craft it all together. So I'm not gonna do another time lapse because I'm sick and tired of them, and I'm sure you guys are too. So we're just gonna do before and after right now. And with that, we are all complete. We've got our pipes all going together. Everything comes up from underneath these. The gunpowder is right there. But it all comes down to this front area where we have our paper being made, sent into a hopper over onto this side. And when there is a little bit of overflow, it'll start crafting them up. So we need to get more gunpowder in. So the only thing left to do now is to turn on the lights and power it all up. And with that, we are going to end today's episode there. I had a great time trying out a brand new build style to me, all new, just trying out, playing around with different things, a lot of fun. And starting, of course, my first industrial district, then more to come, lots more. Let me know what other big automated things I should add to this area in the steampunk style. But if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like and subscribe for more episodes coming soon. Until next time.